This is a very simple and easy process I followed in creating an elastic waistband for my pants. So the process is going to be beginner friendly because I was also doing this for the first time. For that reason, I had to follow the step gradually. The first thing you need to do is calculate the round waist on your pants and use the exact measurements to cut out your band. So I went ahead to cut out my band offline because I was done calculating the waistline, and I cut out the exact fabric I needed for the band. Now my band is 5 inches long, that's the length, because you know how we create band. When you cut out a 5 inches length of fabric, you're going to fold this into 2 and then use half an inch to join this to your waistline, leaving you with a 2 inches waistband. If you know the math, you know the math. Anyway, the next thing I did is fold this into 2 to iron. And folding it into 2 is what I was saying, that after folding it like this into 2, what you should have is 2.5 inch length after folding. So half an inch is for joining and 2 inches is what your band is going to look like, or it's going to be after you're done joining. So if you don't want a band that is going to be 2 inches long as a length, then you should cut out something that when you fold, you get the exact number you want. If you want it more than 2 inches, you should go for 6 inches worth of length so that you can get 2.5 after you're done joining, or you can go for 7 inches length. Now if you've been watching my videos on how I attach band to my pants, you should already know this whole process. Like, this is like the easiest step when it comes to making a band. So what I'm doing right now is just ironing this to get the actual length after fold, and then I'm going to move into the step of creating a channel for my elastic and for my rope. So after folding and ironing, the next thing I'm going to do is the first line I'll be marking out creating for my elastic is for the 1 inch elastic. So I had to place it there to know the size first. I'll use my tape to calculate how long the elastic is. That's the length of the elastic, and this is a 1 inch elastic. So what I'll be marking down from here is 1 inch. So that line I'm creating right now is for the first elastic, which is a 1 inch elastic, and I'm going to mark the exact length of the elastic on my band to create the space where the elastic will be sitting after I am done sewing. So I'm marking this all over the band, and I'll create a long straight line to indicate that this is the first channel, and this first channel is for my elastic. Like I said, this is like very easy. When we follow the process gradually together, there is no way you will not be able to create one for yourself, no matter who you are. There is absolutely no way. So now I am indicating the straight line to show that on this top side of my band, an elastic of 1 inch is going to be sitting on there, and that is it for the first channel we're creating. We're going to be creating 3 channels. This is the first one. The next one is going to be for the rope, and then the last one is going to be for an 1/2 inch elastic. So the first one is done. The next is going to be 1/2 inch space for my rope, so I'm just going ahead to mark 1/2 inch. So I'll come down from the 1 inch, I'll mark 1/2 inch. That is another space or channel for my rope. Okay, so this is the second line. Like I said, we're creating 3 lines. 2 elastic line, 1 line for the rope, and the rope is sitting in the middle of my band. This is like a continuation of my band series. The first one I uploaded is how to make a fitted band. Video is available. This is an elastic band. We're going to be creating more bands, and I'm going to be adding them into a playlist. So no matter what it is that you're trying to create, you will just have this available for yourself, so you can choose what kind of band you want to create for your outfit and follow along. So you can see we have 2 lines. Now the last line is also going to be 1/2 inch for my 1/2 inch elastic. So that's it, 1/2 inch, and this is for the elastic. Now after that line, the rest allowance we have below on the band is going to be for joining. That is what we are going to use to join the band to the pant, and you guys are going to be seeing how the whole process. I got you. Now while we're actually making these lines visible on the band is because we're going to sew on the lines. Like, we're going to take this to the sewing machine and match exactly on this line that we have created using our chalk. Okay, so make sure you're making your line visible, because when you go to the sewing machine, you shouldn't second guess what you're matching, what you're sewing. You should have like a straight line indicated, and you just sew along that straight line. So you can see I have my lines. Now I'm going to create the hole for the rope, because my rope is going to be coming out from my band. Let's create this together. Okay, this is how I created it. The first thing I'm going to do is fold my band into 2 to get the middle line, the middle point of the band. So this is the middle point, and I'm going to be creating 2 holes on the line where I marked for my rope. Now why is this happening on the middle point of the band? Because this middle point is going to be sitting on my center front of the pant. Okay, the center front, this is where the rope is going to be falling out from. That is why I am creating these particular holes on the middle point, like very close to the middle point, like 1/4 inch away from the middle line, each sitting opposite each other. Okay, each point sitting opposite each other. So the next thing I'm doing is using my grommet tools to create a proper sitting point for my rope. I've had this grommet tools for the longest time, so it came in really handy for this project. I don't know if this is optional. I don't know what else you can do here if you don't have a grommet tool, but I feel like there are other ways you can actually go about this if you don't have this particular tools that I'm using. So I would advise you to be resourceful when it comes to this part. Find out something that you can do, especially if you don't have the tools that I'm using. There are other ways, okay? But anyways, I went ahead to properly close the opening that I created with my scissors, and all this is happening on the line that I created for my rope. So this is what it looks like. See the line that I created for my rope? That's what it looks like, okay? And I'm just going to stitch on the lines properly to create the channel. After stitching on the lines, you can see the indication of my thread on the band. Now I can pass my elastic, my rope, and the smaller elastic, I can pass it through. But I'm going to start with my rope, okay? So what I did for the rope is I already sewed in, I used bias. I sewed in very long stripes of rope, and I divided this into 2. Now this is longer than the band itself because it needs to fall out of the pant, okay? So I just made a very long strip of bias, and then on the ends of it, the ones that is going to fall out of the pant, the ends, I made a knot. Okay, I made a very tight knot on the ends, or let's say the ends, and it has 2 ends. Now the other side of the rope or the strips, I am going to pass in this through the point I have created for it. Now I'm going to be passing it through that point that I already used my grommet tool to open. That's the eye. Yeah, I like to call it the eye. So I'm going to be passing my rope through that point, and you guys are going to be seeing how. So see that small tiny opening? I'll pass my needle through it. After I sewed my needle and thread to my rope, I'm just going to pass this gradually. Now it is only going to sit on the line I created for the rope, because I have gone ahead to stitch on each line to close them up, okay, to demarcate each and every one of them to demarcate each of the lines away from the other, so that the elastic does not lap with the rope and the rope does not lap with the other elastic. Okay, So when I get to the end here, I'll pin this down. I'll pin that side down, and this is what I mean. So I'll pin here down first because I have to sew this. And this is what I have here. See, I'll do the same thing for this side, and this is it. See, I have my rope successfully passed through the channel, and the next is the elastic. This is very easy. Trust me, this was my first time doing it, and I did not believe how easy it was. I think the only thing that took my time was trying to create a video and explain to you guys. So I'll be passing all the elastic through now. The one for the 1/2 inch and the one for the 1 inch. So I'm starting with the 1 inch, and I'm passing this from the end of the elastic, or sorry, from the end of the band to the other end. Now there is no middle line or middle hole created for the band, so I have to start from the end of the band to the other end. Again, if you are doing this, it's a gradual process. So the first elastic has been passed through the channel created for it, which is the 1 inch elastic, and the last elastic I'll be passing through my band is the 1/2 inch elastic. So I'll go ahead and pass the 1/2 inch elastic on the channel I created for it. Okay, that's the last one. And can you believe that this is the only thing I had to do? Very simple, very easy. Please let me know on the comment section if you find this easy. And this is what I have at last. Now it's time for me to join this to my pants. What I have to do is I'll go sew the elastic together first as the band. I'll go and close it first. Okay, so I'll just go close it by 1/2 inch and then bring it back. So that has been done. Now this is what I have. All I have to do is create the 4 points on the band. That's the 4 points where my band will be sitting on the pants. So the first point, I'll be using my chalk to indicate it, which is the center front and the center back, and then I'll do the side, the left side and the right side. So this is the left side, this is the right side. Okay, and I'll fold it towards the center front and the center back, which is going to be easy for me to understand now because I already have my rope falling out from the center front. So this is the center back, and where the rope is sitting is the center front. So now all I have to do is make sure that when I'm sewing this band to my pants, I follow the indications, okay, the 4 points. I'll pin the center front to the center front of my pants, making sure that the center front on the band aligns with the center front on my pants. Then I'll take the side, the left side to the left side of my pants. I'll pin this down. Okay, that's why we created the 4 points on the band, the 4 points. Left, right, front and back. Okay, always remember this when you're trying to attach your band or trying to attach anything to your lower bodice. So now this is the right side, sitting on the right side of my pants. I'll pin this. And then the last part is the back. I'll pin the back side of my band to the back side of my pants, making sure that the points align, okay? And then I'll take this, my sewing machine, and I'll sew according to how I have pinned. Very important for beginners to pin, okay? Pin creates lines, indicates lines, so that you can be able to follow and stitch, okay? So you don't go to the sewing machine and you're stitching blindly. You already know where you're stitching on and you just follow the lines. Okay, so this is what I have. All I have to do now is go stitch. And this is the final look. This is final result. Let me know in the comment section if this was simple, if this was easy for you to follow. And don't forget to like this video. I'll be seeing you guys on my next video. Love and light to you. Bye.